Hi, it's Mike again. Okay, so there's been an awful lot of talk out on the internet, and especially on YouTube and on Facebook, about the Boy Scouts of America and the Mormon Church. So I'd like to address that. I've been involved in scouting my whole life. At the age of 16, actually I was 15 years old, I got my Eagle Scout, and here it is, right here, my Eagle Scout certificate, and it's dated March 23rd, 1976. Yes, I'm as old as Moses, if there was a Moses. In fact, I babysit his children. And it says, earned during the bicentennial year. And because in those days, bicentennial was huge. Every program, everything was bicentennial. Everything, because it was 1976. So, you know, even a special, that year, a special Eagle Scout badge that ended that year. So, anyway, what happened, though, over the last few days that I've seen, and this is very important to me. It really is, and because the Boy Scouts are such a civic, humanistic organization, that's why I think probably I need to address this on my humanities channel versus my vlog channel, my Navy Medic USMC channel. Because this does address, I mean, the Boy Scouts of America is humanities in motion, basically. But there's a lot of concern out there, specifically regarding the Mormon Church. And let me put it this way. It is true. 60% of all units in the Boy Scouts of America worldwide are connected with some sort of religious organization. The Mormon Church is a hugely important partner to the Boy Scouts of America. So is the Catholic Church. Catholics are second to the Mormons. You will find Mormon Church organizations sponsoring Boy Scouts from the U.S. to the Philippines to Indonesia to just throughout Europe. And in those cases, it's not Boy Scouts of America, it's Boy Scouts of whatever country. Like, for example, BSP, Boy Scouts of the Philippines, for example. Boy Scouts of Australia, whatever. Some people, they have, what do they call them, the Rover Scouts. And it's a really hugely important thing, because they provide the place for Boy Scouts to meet. They provide the funding for the Boy Scouts of America to have things like national jamborees, and the what is it, the new thing, the new Scout Reserve, where they have the national jamboree now. Previously, where they had it at AP Hall in Idaho, and now it's the Bechtel Family Scout Reserve, and things like the National Order of the Arrow Conference, and just all kinds of different things that they do. The high adventure camps they have, the Charles Summers High Adventure Canoe Base up in Canada, the Boy Scouts of America operates. These are all donation funded, okay? Boy Scout troops, Cub Scout troops, they are donation funded, and those donations come very often from churches. I'll give you an example. When I first joined the Scouts, I was 11, and it was in the little town of Central City, Nebraska. We met in the basement part, the lower part of the Presbyterian Church, and I stayed there for quite a while. And then, for political reasons or whatever type of reasons that I'm probably still trying to come to grips with, it became obvious I wasn't going to make my Eagle Scout at that troop, so I transferred to the next town over. And I got my Eagle Scout in this other troop in Grand Island, Nebraska. And that troop met at the KC Hall, the Knights of Columbus, a purely Catholic organization. The Catholic Church, the Mormon Church, the Baptists, the Methodists, the Presbyterians, the Seventh-day Adventists. There are even Muslim churches are Muslim organizations that sponsor scouting. And also, I'm aware of one or two Buddhist organizations, especially here in the Bay Area, that sponsor scouts. Up in Chinatown and San Francisco, naturally you would imagine that, right? Well, they have a thriving scout organization up there, sponsored by the Buddhists. So, yeah, religion plays a heavy part in scouting. In the days when scouting first started, which was 1908, when the Boy Scouts of America, scouting itself started, actually was in England. Lord Baden-Powell started the scouting movement over there. And it was always based, I mean, there was always the philosophy of the fact that a young man must have a religious, orthodox kind of a grounding to them, or they are not moral. That was the belief in those days. Nowadays, obviously they've backed off of that, except that religion is still huge. The Scout Law says now, and always did, this, for example, the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country. It goes on to say, to obey the Scout Oath, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. The morally straight on the end of that also ties back to religion. There's no way around it. That's what it's always been. The Scout Law itself, the 12 points of the Scout Law, the last one is reverent. So it's heavily invested. I mean, religion is heavily invested in the Boy Scouts and vice versa. There are special awards, medals you can receive, which are religious based. And when I was a kid, I got what's called the God and Country Award, which was for Protestant. But they have one for the Episcopalians. They have one for the Catholics, a different one, different name. The Protestant is called, or the Episcopalian, it's called God and Country, but they call it Pro Deo et Patria. There's the Catholics. There are Buddhists. There's Jewish. Now there's even some Jewish organizations that sponsor scout troops, especially up in the New York area, New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia, that area. There are Muslim organizations there are Muslim awards as well. So religion is gigantic. I really haven't seen anything to do with Scientology yet. Not really sure. And I'm not aware that there is specifically a Mormon medal. I think it falls under the Protestant category, the God and Country. So, yeah, religion is huge. The Mormon Church is huge. The Catholic Church is huge. Maybe I should say the Mormon Church. Depends on how you feel about it. But it doesn't control it. And the statement was, they control it. They own the Boy Scouts. The Mormons own the Boy Scouts. Well, that's not true. The Mormons provide a heck of a lot of funding for the Boy Scouts of America. The Catholics do. All these other churches do. All these other organizations do. But so do city organizations and civic organizations and educational organizations and certainly private foundations. And the Boy Scouts of America themselves sponsor a huge number of troops that have no religious affiliation whatsoever. But it is because of the religious affiliations of the Scouts and all of their sponsors that one very controversial but to them important tenet has existed and does exist and will exist, and that is they do not accept gay Scouts or gay Scouters, the adult Scouter. I got my Eagle Scout in 1976. That same year I was inducted, I got the highest level award allowed in what's called the Order of the Arrow, which is Scouting's honor society. And I mean, I know those people. I know members on the council. One guy, a great friend of mine, is the new chairman of the Order of the Arrow Council, the Order of the Arrow Lodge. And these are people that sit on the National Scout Committee, and they make all these decisions down in Irving, Texas, where the headquarters is. And they are staunch, and I don't think it will ever change. Gay Scouts and gay scouters are not allowed. Part of that has to do with the sexual molestation that prompted the rules in 2004, where scouters do not now have, or will not again have, the ability to meet one-on-one with a scout. Even merit badge counselors, there's got to be 2 adults there at least. And I mean, that's just what it is. And they actually say they don't want atheists as well, because they believe that religious morals really are important to the development of a young man. Although it's like the military, the gays and the atheists, it's just like the military. If they want to be there, they say, you know, it's a don't ask, don't tell kind of thing. But and that's, you know, that is a sorry state of affairs maybe. But the Boy Scouts of America and the Boy Scouts everywhere, it's a private organization, and they do have the ability, they have the legal right to decide who gets in and who doesn't. Okay, they do have that right. When I filled out the paperwork to be an adult scouter, I mean, oh my God, the background investigation you go through, it's unbelievable. They talked to everybody I ever met. It's like getting a bar card. They are very strict on that, extremely strict on it. And that's because of the molestation thing again, and that's obviously why the gay thing is so big. And the church is huge and has threatened, the Mormon church particularly has threatened on several occasions, 4 that I know of, to pull funding if the scouts allow gays. And the Catholic Church is right there in step with them. So just to answer you guys, because, you know, suddenly you're turning the Boy Scouts of America into a communist organization, and they're a bunch of fascists. And that's funny, because either they're fascists or they're communists. That's like saying he's a Democrat Republican. But it is what it is. And I guess you guys are just going to have to get over it. It just is. And the fact is that it works at this point. It may not be something everybody likes. It may not be something that is incredibly open. It may not seem incredibly open or liberal. But the point is, the Scouts have always been a conservative organization. It always has been that way. There are women out serving as scouters, but that's pretty much it. I mean, you just have to deal with that fact, guys. And if you can't deal with it, then go, I don't know, join the YMCA or something, I guess. You know, I don't really agree with it either, but there you are. So, have a great day.